Okay, good morning everyone. My name's Wayne. I'm from the Council's Enterprise team. I'd just like to welcome you here today to our webinar. I hope you find it really useful. And firstly, apologies for the technical issues that we had last week. As you can see, we've changed the format, so hopefully all should be okay for today. Just a few points before we start. We will be recording the event, which means you will be able to view it back afterwards, should you wish to pick up on any of the points covered this morning. So you should be able to pick that up through the chat box after the session. Could I just ask you to keep your cameras off during the session today as well? If you do have any questions during the event, just pop them into the comments box and we will try and answer those as we go through today. Our facilitator this morning is Lynn Thomas. Lynn runs her own business known as the Business Builder as a coach and mentor, and Lynn specialises in helping businesses to build their brand awareness and generate sales through online marketing. We're also joined today by Councillor Brian Edwards, who's leader of the council, and also Councillor Roger Lees, who is deputy leader and cabinet member for planning and regulatory services. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Lynn.
Hello, good morning. Thank you. It's nice to be here finally. Better late than never. Apologies for last week. As Wayne said, technical issues, it just kind of wouldn't let me in. So I'm here now. Thank you so much for bearing with us, and let's just get on with it. All right, so today I thought a good thing to do would be to have a look at all the questions that I'm typically asked, either in my workshops or in my challenges or by my mentees, and answer those for you because they crop up over and over and over again. So also, if I don't cover anything or there's a burning question that you want to answer, please feel free to type it in the chat box. I will be keeping an eye on that. So will Liz, if I miss any. So please feel free to ask away and I will answer wherever I can. So first of all then, what platform should you be on? And I get asked this all the time because people are confused about where they should be to market themselves most effectively. And I think there are so many different platforms now and new ones springing up all the time. I'm sure some of you have been hearing about Clubhouse, which is the latest thing to hit the scene. And some people may have ventured on to TikTok. So there are new social media things popping up more or less every week now, and it's difficult to know where you should be to promote your business to get the best results. So first of all, the answer to that question is there isn't a best platform as such. The best place to be to promote your product or service is wherever your customers hang out. Now, that will be determined by who they are, what demographic they fit into. So, for example, if you are typically aiming your products or services at ladies of a certain age, 50 plus, then you're probably more likely to find them on Facebook than you are on TikTok. So Facebook would be definitely the place to be marketing yourself. If you're looking for younger kind of generation, say moms of small children, then you're probably going to find those on Instagram. Instagram much more for the young moms. If you're a male orientated business, so you're selling products and services, or you want to market more to men, then Twitter or LinkedIn are probably better platforms for you, because there are a far bigger proportion of men on those platforms. So really the first thing you need to consider is, where is my customer? You know, where are they typically hanging out on these social media sites? And then the best way to do that is to figure out, obviously, who your customer is. Who exactly are you trying to market to? And you will have heard of niches, and you will have heard of, you know, trying to do target marketing to aim it at a specific group of people. And this is true, really. The better at niching or targeting you can be, the more effective your marketing will be, because it will speak directly to a small group of people and answer their specific questions or provide solutions to their specific problems. And this is really important on, you know, any kind of marketing, but on social media particularly, because, well, it's such a busy place, isn't it? So many businesses are vying for your attention that you've got to be very, very clear about what you're doing and who you're doing it for if you're going to grab their attention. So there isn't necessarily a right platform to be on. You can make sales on any of the platforms, but obviously if you're on a platform where you know that typically your customers are going to be, then you're just going to get better results, aren't you? So quite sort of simple. How do you get people to follow you or connect with you? Now, I know a lot of people are on LinkedIn. I would always recommend that any business is on LinkedIn, and it doesn't matter whether you're selling business to business, and people generally think that that's what LinkedIn is for, but I beg to differ, because you can sell business to customer as well. If you think about LinkedIn, it's full of people, isn't it? You know, and each of those people, yes, they might have a business or belong to a business or an organization, but each of those people are an individual person. They buy things, they look for inspiration, they look for ideas, just like anyone else on any of the other platforms. And so if you're marketing on LinkedIn, you need to remember that you are marketing to individuals on the platform, and individuals make up those companies. So it's just as effective for selling B2C as it is B2B. And I do have quite a few arguments on that one, or have had over the years, but trust me, it's just as easy to sell B2C as it is B2B. So how do you get people to connect with you on LinkedIn? Well, this is something that you can actually try out right now if you want to. If you get your phone and go onto your LinkedIn app, and I'm just going to do it right here with you, and then you type into the search bar at the top of your app who your ideal customer is. So, for example, I typically deal with small business owners. So if I type in small business owners, and I'm just going to do it right here so you can see how quick and easy it is. And then I'm going to click on search. So I've just typed that into my search bar, and I'm going to click on the search bar at the bottom of my screen. And then I'm going to click on people. So you'll see the tabs appear at the top of the screen, and I'm going to click on the people tab. And then it's going to give me a whole list of people down the side of my screen here. I'm now going to click on connections, the connections tab, which is next to people. And I'm going to choose second tier connections. So I'm just going to click on second and show results. And then that's going to give me another list of people, but I'm not done just yet. Next, I want to click on the locations tab. Now, you might be a business that only operates in the local vicinity, in which case, key in your local area, Wolverhampton, Birmingham, Staffordshire, whatever that may be. Or you might be able to provide your goods or services countrywide, in which case choose United Kingdom. So I'm just going to click on United Kingdom and show results. And then you will get another list of people down the side. And then you will see like a little icon with a plus next to it. Literally go and just tap on each of those, and that will then send a connection request to those people. The beauty of that is they are your ideal customer. If you can get a whole connection, a whole network of ideal customers to connect with you on LinkedIn, when you market your goods or services, you are marketing to your ideal customers. So a lot of people, when they tell me I'm not getting leads from LinkedIn, I'm not making sales, nothing's happening, and I look at their connections and I start asking questions. So who's this? Who's that? And typically what they're doing is they're connecting with other business owners or, MDs or whoever, or people who are in the same line as them. So it might be that they're part of a sales team and they're connecting with other salespeople. That's not going to help you make sales, is it really? What you want is to connect with people who are going to be doing the buying. And then that way, when you promote your business online, it's going to attract the attention of the people who actually want your goods or services, rather than people who are kind of selling the same thing as you. So that's a different sort of way of looking at it. Start building your connections of ideal customers, and you will then find that it is much easier to start generating leads and making sales on LinkedIn. Now, people say, do I need to send a connection request? Because LinkedIn always says, you stand a better chance of someone connecting with you if you send a personal invitation or a connection, a little message with your connection request. Honestly, it makes no difference whatsoever. I've tried both. I've sent several hundred connection requests with a personal message attached and several hundred without. And it makes absolutely no difference to the percentage of people who have connected with me. In fact, a lot of time, and I'm sure you will have noticed this yourself, a lot of the time that personal message doesn't come through until you've actually connected with them. So in my view, why spend time doing things that aren't going to make things better for you? They're just going to waste your time. So, you don't need to be sending these personal invitations. Another thing is, what I personally dislike, and I am sure that many of you will agree with me, is as soon as you connect with somebody, you see a message pop up in your inbox and you think, oh, here we go. So you open your inbox and sure enough, there they are, telling you that they're the world's best at whatever it is they do, or that their product is the world's best. And, click here and buy it. That always makes me think about, remember, the old films with the guys that used to stand on the street corners in London selling watches, do you want to buy a watch? You don't know this person. They've never met you. They don't understand your problems, your needs, your issues, your concerns. And yet here they are bombarding you with, buy this product, buy this service. I personally don't do that. I don't recommend it. I don't like it. And if I don't like it, I don't do it because I expect other people don't like it either. Instead, build a relationship with your connections. Go out, put posts out there that are going to resonate with your connections, that are going to answer questions that they have, that are going to help provide solutions to problems that they're having. Explain the benefits of your products or services. And that way people will come to you. You don't have to go to them. They will start to notice you, and we'll talk more about how that happens a little bit later, but they will start to notice you. And then when they're ready to buy that product or service, it will be you that comes to mind and you that they contact. So don't make things difficult for yourself. At the end of the day, try and work in a way that is helpful to your clients or potential clients and customers, and valuable. Offer them value, offer them support, and eventually, they will thank you for it because they will become customers. So that's how you get people to follow you on LinkedIn. If you're using Instagram, it's pretty much the exact same way. Just go on to Instagram, but you need to click on the little magnifying glass at the bottom of your screen to bring up the search bar to then put in your ideal customer, and then choose users instead of people. which it is on Instagram. But it's the same process. Just go through and start following all those people who are your ideal customers. Now you might think, well, why do I want to follow my ideal customers? I don't necessarily want to follow them. They're not, they're not selling anything that I'm particularly interested in. But by following them, you are greatly increasing the odds of them following you back. So, do it. Just trust me. Then that way you are building up a whole load of followers who are your ideal customers. So there you go. That's how you get people to follow you. Facebook, unfortunately, Facebook is a little different. Facebook now, they make everything so difficult for free. They basically want you to pay to use the platform. This pay to play thing is becoming more common across all of the platforms, but Facebook particular make it difficult to get followers. One of the easiest ways I found now to get followers on Facebook is to actually go live on your pages. So and yeah, I know a lot of people sort of, kick against that. They don't want to do live streams. But if you want to be followed on Facebook, first of all, you've got to get out there. You've got to get your message out. You've got to get your posts out. You've got to get your content out for people to see so they can decide whether or not they want to follow you. And one of the best ways of getting your content out in front of many people is by doing live streams. Little static posts with pictures don't really cut it anymore on Facebook. You've got to get out in front of your audience by videos or really live streams. If you do live streams, I can pretty much guarantee that you will start getting more followers more quickly. So that's that. If anybody's got any other platforms, everyone except for the speaker mute. Yeah, sorry, just checking. That's not for me. Yeah, if anybody's got any other platforms that they're using that they want to know how to follow on, then obviously pop it in the question bar. But basically, if you follow the instructions that I've given you for LinkedIn, they're pretty much the same across all the other platforms. Twitter, for example, is very, very similar. I said Instagram, you're just going to following people. So very similar. All right, so another way to get reach from your post, and by reach I mean the amount of people who actually get to see it on the platform. So I don't know whether you're aware, some of you maybe not, but when you put out a post on any of the platforms, it's the algorithms that get to decide who sees that post. And Facebook, for example, typically on average 1 to 2% of your followers on Facebook will see any post that you put out. So if you've got 1,000 followers on your Facebook page and you put out a post, you'll be lucky if 10, 15 people out of those 1,000 people get to see it. That is how tiny these percentages are. And it's not much better across the other platforms either. LinkedIn is probably one of the better ones. You can typically get 10 or more % on LinkedIn if you start getting some engagement. And it's this engagement that drives the reach. So how can we get engagement? What do I mean by engagement? Engagement means people who are liking it, commenting on it, sharing it, or in actual fact, just stopping and viewing it or reading it. So algorithms collect all this information. Is it generating interest? Are people commenting on it? Are you then commenting back? Is there a conversation started? Are lots of people liking it? Are lots of people sharing it? Or are lots of people spending time actually consuming the information? And the algorithms will look to see how long people spend on your content as well. So these are all things that you need to bear in mind, because the better the engagement, the better the reach. And that is because each platform wants to improve its user experience. So it wants to show its users content that they've shown an interest in previously. And so if your content shows that it's being viewed by a lot of people, or it's liked by a lot of people, then the algorithms will then share that content with more people on the platform. So more of your connections or followers will get to see it, but also you stand a chance of getting in front of some new eyeballs too. And that's always a good thing on social media. So think about your content and think about how it's going to encourage engagement with your audience. How is it going to attract likes? How is it going to start that conversation? And, you know, there are several ways that you can do this. You can create what I call Marmite Posts, you know, things that are divisive that, you know, people are either going to love or they're going to hate. So it's going to generate that kind of, you know, debate. Or you can talk about things that you know that your audience are interested in. So it might be a current topic, something that's happening in your industry. It might be a solution to a problem that you know most of your audience have. It might be a question type post where you ask for people's opinions. People love giving their opinions, don't they? So when you ask, look, do you prefer A or B? People will generally give you an answer to that question. So these are all ways that you can help improve engagement, encourage engagement from your audience. And this in turn is going to help reach, and this in turn will help more people get to know what it is that you do and how you can help them and what your product does and all the benefits, etc. So the key is getting your content out to as many people as possible. So two things need to happen before that can happen. First of all, you need to grow your audience, but you need to grow the right audience. You need to grow an audience of ideal customers. And secondly, you need to create content that speaks to them directly so that you're more likely to get engagement, so that your reach increases. Hope that all makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about posting content that speaks directly to your customer. So what does that look like? Well, that could be when you're addressing a particular concern that they have. So, for example, I might put posts out about how to grow your audience on social media fast. Or I might put a post out that says something like 3 simple ways to get noticed more on social media. And this is speaking to my ideal clients, because my ideal clients are small business owners who are trying to improve their online marketing, or specifically, you know, their social media marketing. Also, post at times that you know that your audience are active, when they're actually on the platform. And this, unfortunately, there is no right time. You will see loads and loads of posts on social media that tell you the best times for posting on Twitter, the best times for posting on LinkedIn. There is no best time. The best time is when your audience is active. So, for example, if your ideal audience are mums of young children, it's probably no good posting around 3 to 4 p.m, is it? Because they're going to be on the school run, they're going to be going and collecting their children. So they're probably not going to be sitting scrolling through social media. However, you know, sort of 7 p.m, once the kids are all settled, and that's probably when they're having a little look through. So this is like most marketing. It comes down to testing, tweaking and testing again. You've just got to put posts out and then see what happens. Do you get more engagement if you post at 7 p.m. in an evening, or do you get more engagement if you post at 9 a.m? Okay, so test and test again. Also, a way to get better engagement on your posts is to engage with other people. And that sounds really simple, but when I do these workshops, you know, I ask people, when was the last time you liked someone else's post? Just have a think about it. When was the last time you actually liked someone's post on social media? When was the last time you commented on someone's post on social media? Most people don't, do they? You know, we don't think about it. We'll read it and we might even enjoy it, and we might give it a thumbs up now and again, but commenting, no, not usually. I haven't got time for that, have we? You know, so what I want you to think about is if you're not liking and commenting on other people's posts, why should they be liking and commenting on yours? But what I will guarantee is once you start going out and liking and commenting on other people's content, they will return the favour. You will start to see your likes and shares and comments improve and increase, and that will help your reach increase. So it's a nice thing to do because obviously it's helping other people, but it's also a little bit self-serving because it's going to help your reach increase too. But there's another benefit to this. Each time when you think about this, each time you comment on a post on social media, your logo or your face pops up, doesn't it? And then your headline, your little bio at the side of it. Now, what I would recommend you do is have a look at that bio, because does it actually just say that you're the MD of such and such, or does it say that you're a multi-award winner at so and so, or does it actually say how you can solve a problem for your customer? Just putting it out there, you know. If you've got an opportunity to get this little sentence out that says what you do or what your product does or the benefits of working with you or what your service provides and who it provides it for, then that is going to be far more useful, because at the end of the day, we're very selfish creatures, aren't we? We want to know what's in it for me. You know, what am I going to get out of this? So you telling me that you're a multi-award winner such and such and so and so, I haven't even got to the bit where it tells me at what, because it's cut off, you know, and that's okay. But it's okay for you because you're allowed, you know, to go out there and shout about your rewards, but it's not really helping me because it's not telling me that you can solve my problem or that your product is going to be best for me, because, and that's what I'm interested in. What can you do for me? Okay. Having all your awards and all the rest of it, put that in your profiles. Don't put it in your headlines, okay? You just want to make sure that each time your little logo, your face pops up against anything that you do at all online, you're basically calling out to your ideal clients and saying exactly what your product or service can do for them. So just another little marketing tip there. This is free, guys. It's free advertising, so don't waste it. You know, use it. Precious real estate there. Okay, so the next question: do you still need thousands of followers? And this, we argue about this because the answer, like most things on social media, isn't straightforward. It's yes and no. Back in the day, about 2 years ago, you did need thousands and thousands of followers because that was how you were going to get your post in front of that many people. So the more followers you had, the more chance and opportunity you had of your posts being seen by other people. However, that has now changed. Instead of it being follower driven, as I've already explained, it is now content driven. It's driven by user experience. It is about the engagement that your posts get rather than the fact that you've got 10,000 followers. So back in the day when you got 10,000 followers, then obviously you would get a proportion of those followers will get to see your posts. These days, that's not so much the case. You can have much fewer followers, but if you're creating really good content, a bigger proportion of them will get to see it. But the answer is yes, you still need, you know, lots of followers, because obviously the more followers you have, the more that proportion is. So if you've got 1,000 followers and you get, you know, a good proportion of those people seeing your content, imagine what that would be like if you had 10,000 followers. So the numbers aren't quite so important. It's more about who is following you, not how many followers you've got. And that's the important thing to remember these days, because if you're getting the right follower, so a follower who is interested in what you have to say, and they're going to watch your videos, they're going to read your content, then they're going to engage with it and leave you comments and likes and shares, etc. That's what's going to help you get in front of more people. So it's about having the right followers. So you'd be much better off with 1,000 ideal clients following you than 10,000 random people. So just bear that in mind. Okay. What happens if I don't get engagement? I think this is a question that I get asked an awful lot in my challenges. You know, I've been doing this, you know, for ages, and I just can't seem to get any engagement. Should I just give up? Well, the answer to that is no, never give up. And to be honest, although engagement is going to help you get your posts in front of more people, what I find is just because people aren't commenting, aren't liking, aren't sharing does not mean they're not looking at it, they're not viewing your videos, or they're not reading your information. As I just said earlier, when was the last time you commented on a post? But I bet you've read thousands in the last month. Yeah, even if you just had a quick glimpse, you've still seen it, but you haven't commented on it. So what I'm saying is, although people aren't noticeably there, they are still there. They are still watching you. They are still consuming your content. They're still getting to know you from the content that you put out. They're getting to understand you, understand your product, your service from the videos they watch, the live streams they attend, or the content that they read. Okay, they don't have to actually physically engage with it to actually consume it. So this is really important as well, because people get really despondent. You know, they say, oh, Lynn, you know, I'm putting out all these posts and I'm just getting nothing back in return. And and then I'll say, well, just keep doing it, and something will come back. And then, then they're astounded that somebody has rung them out of the blue and told them that they've been watching them for a while on LinkedIn. They liked the sound of what they did, and then they become a customer. And I can testify to this because many times people who actually contact me, particularly on LinkedIn, haven't ever engaged with a single piece of my content. As far as I know, they've never liked it. They certainly never commented on it, because I would have replied and I probably would have recognized the name. But they will often say, oh, I've seen your posts on LinkedIn. Have you? I didn't know. And that's the thing. So don't assume that just because people aren't liking it and they're not engaging with it, that they're not actually reading it or watching it, because I promise you they are. All right, so don't give up. Keep going. But what you need to be aware of is, what is the content? What kind of content are you creating? Is it helping them get to know you better? Is it helping them get to understand your services better or your product better? Is it showing them the benefits? Is it helping them to understand your company values? Is it helping them to get to like you? Is it helping them to get to trust you? You have to think about the content that you put out. What is its purpose? Each piece of content, you should have an objective in mind, which we'll come to again in a little bit. What is it that you want them to do? What is this content for? Is it to help them get to know me and understand me? Is it to help them get to know the history of the business, so that I can show that, it's been going a long time? Is it to show them the benefits of my product or service, so that they will completely understand why it's going to be great for them? Is it that I want them to follow me, somewhere else? So you might have started, a YouTube channel, for example, and you want them to come and follow you on YouTube. Have a purpose for your content and think about what that purpose is before you go and create it. Because if you're just creating random content, you're never going to know how that is resonating with your audience, or whether in fact it's helping you build that trust or generate those leads. So have some sort of call to action in them if you can. Ask them to follow you somewhere else. Ask them to sign up for your newsletter. Ask them to download your catalogue. Ask them to visit your site. Try and get something measurable out of the content so you can actually see whether it's working or not. And then you will, obviously, if you can measure it, you can manage it. And if you can manage it, you can improve it. So another little tip there. Right. So how do you know what's working? How can you analyze this? And again, a lot of this is going to be testing, tweaking, testing again, but each platform has its own analytics or insights, as they're called, on Instagram and Facebook. And you can access the insights and have a look at which of your posts have got the most engagement, which of your posts have had the biggest reach. You can start then to see what time of day do you post. It also will give you the time, especially on Facebook and Instagram, it will tell you the time of day that your typical audience is most active. So it knows that by how they've interacted with your content. So again, use it as a guide, not as gospel, and then go and put more posts out at those times of the day and see if you get a better response. And then you just got to keep building on it. Look at the kind of posts that you put out. So, for example, if you're in Instagram at the moment, Reels are a real big thing, they were kind of brought in to counteract the TikTok effect, if you like. People wanted to put videos onto Instagram, but didn't necessarily want to go on IGTV and do the long videos. They wanted to put the short little videos like the TikTok type of videos. And so Instagram developed Reels. Now, Reels have been out now for over 6 months, and Instagram are still pushing them. If you do Reels, you will get far more reach than you will by doing just a static post or even a story. So Reels at the moment are the absolute must if you're using Instagram, and they're quick and they're easy to create, and you don't have to get in front of the camera yourself if you don't want to. I, for example, have created a little PowerPoint presentation that's animated, so it just literally slides up. That I'll put on as a reel, and they do really well. You can, if you want to, get in front of the camera and do the pointy things. Again, they're quick and simple to do and quite good fun too, but they're a little more time consuming. But if you're on Instagram, you've got to go with Reels. LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn, that is about the only platform I know of right now that still enjoys its static posts. You don't even have to put images on LinkedIn for your posts to do really well. It seems that the platform likes that, the users like that. LinkedIners don't want it to become Facebook, they don't want it to become Instagram, they like it the way it is. Although lives have become quite a thing on LinkedIn. You can't just go and do a live like you can on Facebook. You have to actually apply to be able to do lives on LinkedIn. So it's quite a status thing. But once you're accepted, if you do lives on LinkedIn, of course, you will get that pushed out to more of your followers. You'll also see that your connections get little notifications pop up when you are doing a live. So again, it's encouraging them to actually view your content, and it's pushed out to more of your connections. So you really have to look at the platforms and think, what are they, what are they pushing? What's their latest thing? Because the latest thing will be the thing that they're going to push out the most. So as I said, if you go onto Reels on Instagram, you will get much better reach than if you just put a static post out. If you do a live on LinkedIn, you're going to go in front of far more people than just putting a static post out. So keep up basically with the platforms and what they're doing, and you will find that your reach increases. Okay. Other things that analytics and insights will show is your demographic, what age groups, what ages are typically following you. And again, that means that you can create content perhaps that has slightly different language. So if you realize that if you have a younger audience, you might realize that your language is perhaps aimed at, more an older group. So you could start talking about things that the younger audience would relate to. So it helps you keep relevant and talk to your audience in a way that they want to be talked to, spoken to. Okay, so again, insights or analytics, really good for that. They'll also tell you where your audience is coming from. And this is quite important on places like Instagram. It will know that you're based in the UK, so it should be promoting your content to UK residents. But that's not always the case. So it is worth just checking that the majority of your audience is in the UK, if you need it to be, obviously. Because if you're starting to create a really good US audience, but you only provide your service in this country, that's not going to do you any good. So just keep an eye on that as well. Also, have a look and see if it's more male or female. And that might surprise you as well. I worked with a client recently who thought she was marketing to women, but it turned out that far more men were actually engaging with her content. So that might surprise you. Again, you have to check these things to be able to manage them and then improve them. So insights, very important. Also, check the amount, excuse me, check the amount of profile views that you get, particularly on LinkedIn. So you can do that by just clicking onto your profile and opening that up, and it will show you your profile views. It will also show you all the posts and all the things that you've interacted with on there. But your profile views are really important on LinkedIn, because your profile, if it's written well, should do your selling for you. It should basically tell people what your product is, what your service is, what your business provides. It should answer frequently asked questions. It should even maybe share prices. So if you've got a pricing policy, maybe you could put that on there. Or if you've got different prices, you can at least give them a range. So starting at or from, prices start from, something like that. Or if you're selling packages, you can put your package prices on there. So really, your profile, if you like, should sell your product or service for you by having that conversation with your potential clients before you even have to speak to them. So, for example, mine starts by asking them questions. You know, are you struggling to get engagement from social media? Are you fed up of having to spend hours, you know, promoting your business when you should be doing something else, blah, blah, blah. So, and then it goes on to say how I can help solve those problems. And then it goes on to introduce me, a little bit of my background, and I'm talking 2 sentences. And then it goes on to talk about the ways in which people can work with me and how much it will cost. So when people pick up the phone to me, they already know all of that. They know what I do. They know how I do it. They know how much it's going to cost them, because that's one thing I just don't like doing, is having those conversations around money. So it cuts that out. Basically, by the time they're on the phone with me, they've made up their mind whether or not they're going to buy from me, because I've tried to answer all of those questions in advance. I've tried to be as open and transparent as I can. I've tried to show all of the benefits of my services, and, you know, by the time they have a conversation with me, they should really have made up their mind. And that's what I want you to think about with your profiles. Are your profiles doing that, or are they reading like a CV? If they're reading like a CV, then how is that going to help someone decide whether or not you have the best product or service for them? And remember as well, you know, how selfish we are. We want to know what's in it for us. So if you can, make your profile all about your customer. So wherever you've got the word I, see how you can change that for you. So I can help you, you know, that's okay, but isn't you will benefit from, because much better. Make it as much about your customer as you can. Get somebody who's you know, good at copywriting to help you, because this, you know, is, again, it's really good real estate on the platform to be able to help you generate those leads and make more sales. So don't underestimate the power of your profile. Get it right. See what time of day your posts do better. We talked about this as well. You know, sometimes post in the morning you will find do much better than if you try posting in an evening, or sometimes an evening post will do better than a lunchtime post. See if that becomes a pattern. And again, you have to watch this over time, but over time you will see a pattern developing. If you don't know what time your audience is on the platform, then try posting at different times throughout the day to try and gauge. And what I recommend people do is use three hour slots. So you're kind of covering 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., 9 till 12, 12 till 3, 3 till 6, 6 till 9. I don't tend to do 9 till midnight, but you can if your typical audience are night owls, then of course 9 to 12 as well. Try those different timeframes, because that way you've got the whole day covered, and you can then start to build up a pattern of where you get more engagement, and then that will help you determine which time of day is best to be on the platform for your audience. Okay, right then, another question I get asked is, I'm too busy to spend hours every day on social media. You know, I haven't got time for that. I've got cakes to make or engines to mend, or, you know, whatever it is that you do in your business. How can I generate leads? How can I make sales without having to spend all day on social media? You know, what's the bare minimum I can get away with is basically what they're asking me. Most of the time, they don't like the answer, because to be honest, you know, marketing is marketing, and if you want it to work, you've got to spend time at it. You've either got to spend time or you've got to spend money. It's one or the other. Spending a load of money is going to get you results a lot faster, obviously, as is the case with everything. If you haven't got a huge budget to spend on marketing, then you've got to invest the time. That might not necessarily be you. It might be, you know, getting someone in to help you, getting a VA, or you're getting a social media manager, or it might even be creating, you know, certain posts and getting your wife, your husband, your kids to post out on a somewhat regular basis for you. But the honest answer is you have got to spend time actually on the platforms promoting your business if you want to make sales from there. I typically recommend, and I always get pushback on this, that you post at least 4 times a day with different kinds of posts, because again, this way we can see which ones get more engagement, and they're usually the ones that tell the personal stories about the business or about you as a business owner. You know, what started, what was the catalyst that started the business? How long have you been in business? What challenges has the business faced and overcome? Or you as an individual, if you are sort of, you know, a sole business owner. People love this because it helps them to get to know the person behind the business. They get to understand you as an individual rather than just trying to imagine what this business looks like. And everyone that joins my challenges, and I get them to do this, everyone without fail says that the best engagement they get come from their story posts, as we call them. And stories, as I said, they don't have to be ultra personal, but just about your business, how it started, the hopes, dreams, you know, aspirations that you had, as I said, challenges you faced and obstacles and hurdles that you've had to overcome. You know, who is it you're trying to help and why? Why are you so passionate about what you do? What started that? Where did that passion come from? All of these things. And people think, well, how's that going to help me sell, you know, my website business, for example? Well, because they're getting to understand you as an individual. And if you sound like someone they could get to know and like, then they're probably going to be more likely to want to work with you than someone that they know nothing at all about. Again, you have to try it and see, you know, and this is what I get my clients to do. Go and do it and then see what happens. When it doesn't work, you know, come back and tell me it doesn't work and try something else. But if you want engagement, those kind of posts are the best. Offer posts. What I find is people don't go out and actually ask for a sale. It's kind of, oh, no, that's a bit salesy. I don't really want to do that. I'm not very comfortable. But the truth is, you know, that's why you're on social media. You know, let's face it, we're not spending our time on social media putting this content out because we love being on social media, although, yeah, I get it, some people do. We're doing it because we're trying to make sales. We're trying to increase our customer base. And the best way to do that is to go out and put out some posts that actually ask for business. So some people call them call to action posts, some people call them offer posts, some people call them business posts, promotional posts. It doesn't matter what you call them, but they are short, sharp posts that basically say, you know, this is what I'm selling, this is how much it's going to cost, and this is where you can get it from. It's really that simple. You know, and people are doing it because they think, oh, that, you know, it's too salesy, people aren't going to like it. I trust, you know, trust me, they're the ones that actually get the leads because they're short, sharp, to the point. And when you've put out the other content, like your story posts or your live streams or your videos, and people have got to, you know, they've been watching you over time, so they've got to know you and understand you, and they know what your products are and how they're going to benefit them. When you put out the offer post, it's that grabs their attention, and it's that gets them to give you a ring or message you or however you want them to do it. So it's really important that you don't back away from that. Get those offer posts out there, you know, be blatant about it, but excuse me, only one a day. Don't overdo it. The last thing people want to see is sale, 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 you know, buy this, buy this, buy this. But one a day, or even 2 or 3 a week, if you're really that nervous, is better than not doing any. Okay, so also, you don't have to spend hours and hours on social media. You can create a strategy, a simple strategy that will help you manage your social media marketing. I do mine in less than half an hour, and I'm on 6 different platforms. So half an hour a day. And, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, that's the case when I'm promoting challenges or anything, then I'll spend a lot more time. But general day to day, and what would work for you is about half an hour a day. If you can create a strategy where you've already created a library of content. So what I do is I've basically written out my big story, you know, of why I started doing what I do and how it's ended up being what it is today, you know, throughout the years, what challenges I've faced and how things have gone in different directions. But basically I'm telling my story, but I've come up with 31 different variations of it. So basically that's one per day for a whole month. So if I'm really stuck for content, I just go to, what is it today? The 13th, 11th. I'll go into story 11 and post story 11. Tomorrow, story 12, you know, whatever. If somebody sees that next month, does it matter? Of course it doesn't. You know, they probably won't remember that they saw it. And even if they remember that they saw it, I'm reiterating my point. Right, chances of the same person seeing the same post more than once is minuscule, to be honest, because as I said, the way the algorithms work, you know, the same people do not get to see the same posts all the time. So I get a lot of kickback on this. I don't want to post that offer because people are going to unfollow me. I'm going to drive them up the wall. They're going to get fed up of me. They're not, because only, you know, 2% of your audience is actually going to see that first post. So 98% of your audience won't actually see it. And then when you put the second post out, the same applies. But I can pretty much guarantee it won't be the same 2% that see the second post that saw the first post. So really, unless you're posting often enough, you're not going to get enough people seeing your content to start generating those leads. So think about that. The more you post, the better chance you've got of making sales, because the more people are going to actually see your posts. So they're going to get to know what you do, how you can help them. Another question I have is, do you have to, what time is it? Oh, we're okay. Do you have to have a Facebook page? Right. Even if you're not using Facebook as your primary platform for promotion, I would suggest having a page because it gives credibility to your business. 63% of people will check out a business on Facebook before deciding to buy from them. get that 63% of people. So they're not even looking on Google so much anymore, because anybody can create a website, but for you to have a Facebook page, it has to be attached to a real person. So it just gives them that sense of, you know, yeah, you do exist, you are real, you're not just going to take my money and leg it. So I would recommend having a Facebook page, but maybe just post once a week if you're not using it as your main channel. Just a, you know, promotional post once a week would be fine on there, but at least put a page together. Do you need a page, a business page on LinkedIn? No, you don't. I know a lot of bigger businesses have them because it's just easier that way, because they can keep all of their content in one place, and that's okay. But if you're a smaller business or a one-man business, then use your personal profile, because honestly, pages just didn't take off on LinkedIn. And again, I think that's because people didn't want it to turn into Facebook, so they resisted it. LinkedIn is about people, it's about the connections, it's about the networks, it's about the relationships that you build on there. It's not about business pages. So just bear that in mind. If you've got a business page, then that's fine and okay, and put all your business stuff on there. But just remember that you can really help to promote your business page through your personal profile. So talk about your business, talk about what's going on in there in your personal profile as well. So please don't forget about that. Also, I think on LinkedIn, there's different etiquette, you know, on the different platforms. Facebook is far more kind of chatty, look what I've had for breakfast and look where I'm checking in kind of thing. So if you use Facebook to do those kind of things, yeah, then that's great. So if, for example, if you're going to a business event, a conference, something like that, Facebook is a great place to advertise that fact. If you are a visual company and you've got lots of photographs of your product, then, you know, Instagram is a very visual platform to be on. So you should obviously be promoting your images on there. LinkedIn is kind of the professional platform. So it's where you have those sort of professional conversations. You talk about what your business does, the results you're getting, how people have benefited from your product or service, as well as obviously how the business is growing, how it started, all those other personal kinds of stuff. So use the platforms as they're kind of meant to be used in terms of the etiquette, and let them guide you really. If you're really stuck, look at some of what your competitors are doing, because you can get some really good ideas. But what I would say is don't copy, because the whole idea is that you are an individual. Your business is different from everyone else's business. You have your own unique selling point, your own unique offers, etc. So you have to, you know, bring that out in your content. But go and look for inspiration. Look and see what your competitors are doing. What platforms are they on? You know, what sort of content are they putting out? What sort of images are they using? Do they tend to be all video driven, or are they more sort of text based? Or maybe they've even, you know, moved on to audio based. They're producing more podcasts. Which brings us on to kind of Clubhouse. For those of you who are considering Clubhouse, I would think carefully. It's going to take a lot of time to build an audience on there. And it's also going to take a lot of time jumping in and out of rooms and getting engaged in all these conversations. And you really need to make sure that your audience is on there too. And at the moment, it's quite a young platform. Also, you need to be an iPhone user to be able to get into it, because it's only available on iPhones at the moment, no Android. So don't worry too much about Clubhouse and the new platforms that are coming along. Stick to the older ones and just build your reputation on there first, and you will find that you will start to generate the leads and you will start to make more sales. So I said I'd wrap it up at 9:30 so that Wayne can come on if you can. If you've got any questions, please type them into the little message and I will answer if I haven't already. But hopefully I've covered most of the most common ones. And Liz, if you can let me know if I have missed anything, I've tried to keep an eye on it.
There aren't any questions, Lynn, that I can see that have come in.
Oh, hopefully I've answered them all then. So they'll probably start popping. Oh, she didn't answer this, or she didn't tell me that. So that's fine. I'm here for a little while yet. So
That's very informative.
Good, thank you.
That's great, Lynn. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry, I wasn't sure if my microphone was working. Yeah, that was really informative. Thanks a lot, Lynn, for sharing those really useful, practical tips. And I think most of those are things that we can start to implement straight away as well. So that's really appreciated. And as mentioned earlier, the session will be recorded. So if you do want to go back and pick up any of those key tips, you should be able to go back and pick that up from the chat. We will be hosting webinars on a monthly basis. So please let us know if there are any topics that you would like us to cover. The next webinar will focus on some of the easing of the COVID restrictions and what that means for businesses in some of those sectors. For example, non-essential retail, personal care, hospitality, outdoors. So if there are any questions around that, you can get in touch with us at the Business Hub, and we'll answer those on the day. That will be at the beginning of April. Also, just to say that the council's teamed up with the Federation of Small Businesses and the County Council to offer 3 years membership to micro businesses up to 4 employees. So if you're interested in that, again, just go onto our website and you can find out more information on that. Do we have any questions that have come
yes,
through?
Sorry, Wayne. We've had one question that's come in. It just says, do you think a logo or personal photo is better for your social media profile?
Yeah, I would always, unless if you're a large organisation, then obviously a logo, because there's obviously many people behind the business. But if you're a small business owner, then I would always go with a personal profile. A personal photograph on your profile, because you want people to get to know you as a person, because people buy from people basically. So I would always use a personal photo on your social media profiles.
That's great. And as Hayley's put in the post there, if there are any other questions, if you provide your contact details, we will forward those to Lynn, or we'll get an answer back to you. So I'll just hand you over now to Councillor Edwards to say a few words and to close today's session. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Wayne. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. I certainly learned quite a lot myself. I have a business that I run that probably the wrong end of my business career to be thinking too much about this, but I thought it was very, very informative, and especially for what I would call younger businesses, Lynn, to help them start their sort of marketing campaign. I hope you all found it very useful, and I'm sure you'll be able to reference back to it if there's any parts you wish to hear again. It has been recorded, and there were some excellent tips there, I think, for you all to follow. As Wayne said, I'm sure the team will keep you informed of any future events to help businesses of South Staffordshire, and we welcome the chance to meet with you and see you all at these events. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Hope you found it useful, and especially thanks to Lynn for coming along and helping us. Thank you very much, Lynn. And have a good day, everyone.